Welcome back to the Morning Blend. Well, during the summer, the roads seem to be flooded with teenage drivers, but how can we make sure they aren't driving while intoxicated? Elation is what many teens feel at the end of the school year. You know, they imagine driving down the road with the wind blowing in their hair, music blaring, friends hanging out.
Yeah, but what they don't realize is that the high level of distraction that they're creating. So joining us now is Anne Scallon with the organization called Before the Wheel to help parents help their teens make the right decisions. Good to see you again.
Hi,
Great to
Anne.
see you.
Good time to revisit this conversation starting of
Yes.
summer. Everybody's truly thinking that. They're thinking, gonna cruise down the street, Lake Michigan, whatever it is, all their friends, but they're making a lot of distractions within the car, right?
Right, exactly. And I think emotions are not a risk that parents and teens think about. If a teen is very excited or very upset, almost treat it like there's a blizzard outside. I mean, that's how bad it is that their emotions kind of lose control. You start adding the other teens and you get the distractions and a lot more risk.
It's kind of a lethal mix in some
Right.
cases. You have this list of high risk factors for teen drivers, particularly in the spring and summer months, because we always think of weather being a problem in the winter, but really think about summer as we're approaching it now. Emotions, as you mentioned, it could be really high, excited, school's out kind of emotion, or it could be very upset, a breakup or something happening at school or with parents. The other thing that summer often brings is a lot of unstructured time. There's a lack of seatbelt use. They're finding parents tend to be less available. And then, of course, there's the texting and the cell phone use. And we can break these down a little bit. In terms of emotions and a structured schedule, what can parents do specifically about those things?
I really recommend that parents require their teen to be involved in something. Optimally, they can get a job and, you know, start paying some of those car expenses that they should be responsible for. Sometimes the summer jobs, a lot of people are competing for them. So then they can volunteer at a hospital. A lot of times there's people in the neighborhood, older people that need yard work or want to learn computer skills. And so they can use their time well. What you don't want is a lot of time to, hey, let's go to the beach and call 3 to 5 friends. And that's where you get kind of that spiraling situation where they have a lot of free time. They feel like, you know, they can do what they want. There's a lot of people involved, and they start cruising and distracting, and the list goes on.
So help create a little bit more of a structure again in their life so that they don't get those sensations, that bored, that need to go and do something that maybe not as productive.
Right, or have a lot of time to keep doing that, you know, kind of lower the frequency of that type of.
We'd like to think that seatbelt use is just a given at this point, that we all know, you know, you click it or tick it, you know, whatever all the different sayings have always been.
Right.
Seatbelt use, so what can parents do to help ensure that their child is always using it? And do they need to use it in the back seat?
Yes, definitely. Everyone in the car needs to have a seatbelt. And so I think one of the most important things parents can do is always be that role model. So if you're going somewhere literally to a friend's house 3 blocks away and you're staying on neighborhood streets, put all the seatbelts on. And always have the amount of people in the car that there's seatbelts for. Again, adults make these mistakes and they don't realize that kids look at it and then they think, okay, well, it's okay sometimes not to use seatbelts and that type of thing.
4 people in the back, there's 3 seatbelts. So, oh, mom, you know, did it. We can just do it for a couple blocks, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And then it turns
They'll
into
mimic it.
like a behavior that they think is acceptable.
What about parents' availability and the connectedness that they have to their teenager?
I think it's very important. Nowadays we think, okay, if we're texting our teen a lot, we're staying connected. But let's be realistic. If you have a good friend, you go out with your friend for coffee or lunch or dinner. Treat your child the same way. You need to be connected to what they're doing so it's an open communication. So if you're going out, I mean, you have to have something in common, you know, fishing, shopping, going to a concert, anything. Try to do something once or twice a month. And then when you're asking the who, what, where, why, when, it doesn't sound intrusive. You know, you're both coming through the house and, well, what are you doing today? You know, then the teen gets real kind of defensive. If you're having an ongoing conversation, the teen's going to be open and you're going to be open with them. And it really helps. Then you can interject things without sounding like an overbearing parent.
I think it's great. People can learn more at your website, beforethewheel.com. You always have tips for summer, for parties, for increased alcohol use, different things like that that you want to have a conversation with your teen about before it becomes an issue. So beforethewheel.com, again, is the website where you can learn more of these tips of talking to your teen so you stay safe. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.